Halloween Ends has dropped in theaters and on Peacock, so today I'm going to do something just a little bit different. I'm going to rank every Michael Myers mask from the worst to the best. As we go into this, I only included the iconic main Michael Myers masks. I am aware that he wore clown masks, he wore paper masks in the Rob Zombie films. I'm just doing the classic William Shatner inspired masks from each of the films. With that said, this video is brought to you by Audible. Audible is a massive audio bookstore. I have been a customer for the last 7 years, and you can get a free audiobook of your choice by signing up for a free trial of Audible at audibletrial.com/Sean Chandler. Since you're a Halloween fan, I recommend checking out Taking Shape. It's an exhaustive behind-the-scenes book about the creation of every single Halloween film, and there's also a sequel called Taking Shape 2 that's about all of the canceled Halloween movies. You can get one of those two books or any other audiobook of your choice for free by signing up for a free trial of Audible at audibletrial.com/Sean Chandler. Now let's get started. In last place, the Halloween H2o Cgi Mask. Now, if you're not aware, there was a lot of issues with the mask in Halloween H2o. On the Blu-ray special features, there's like a whole 5-minute section all about them trying to get the mask right and having to change it out and do reshoots to keep replacing the mask. And somewhere in the process, they forgot to get this one shot in the movie and instead decided to do it with CGI.
There's also in one shot a cartoon digital mask, which literally looks like a floating cartoon head over top of the shape.
Well, as you're going to find out in this video, I don't like any of the masks in H2o. I don't think they were designed very well. It's not a good look. So imagine a bad design done with cheap, quickly done 25-year-old CGI. It is hilarious. As soon as you see it, you can't unsee it. It's the biggest laugh in the entire movie, and obviously it's unintentional. Number 15, Halloween 4, the Oopsie Mask. Now, this is another movie where there was some behind-the-scenes trouble with the mask. Actually, just this week, Joe Blow put out a video called WTF Halloween 4, and they talk about some of the behind-the-scenes trouble with the mask for this film. And essentially, they ordered a batch of masks and they came in and the face was pink and the hair was white, and this goofy looking mask made it into a couple of scenes before they were able to fix it. Kind of, which you'll find out about very shortly. But so in certain scenes, you just get this ridiculously looking Michael Myers with white hair and a pink face trying to kill Loomis. Yikes. Next up, the main Halloween 4 mask, which isn't really all that much better than the messed up mask. They tried to fix what came in the mail by painting it white and coloring the hair, and it just didn't work. It's too white, it's too bland, it's too generic, and it just looks so unbelievably cheap. The scene in the movie where like he sits up and looks at Jamie looks absolutely ridiculous to me. This entire film just has this terrible, cheap-looking mask. Like, this one right over my shoulder, I bought it at the local Halloween store. It was the only one that they had. I brought it home and I went, ooh, that looks a little bit too clean, too cheap. Better do something with it. Took it in my backyard, rubbed it in the dirt, burned it with a lighter, dyed the hair to try and make it look better. And it still looks awful, but it looks better than the monstrosity in this movie. And I just have it for like background display out of focus in my videos. They put out an actual movie with close-ups of it, and it's terrible. Then we have the Halloween H2o Knb Mask. Now, for this movie, they actually commissioned 3 different masks in addition to the CGI mask, and this is the one that the director actually really liked because it was expressionless. It was a blank slate that was just there. He liked it. I do not. In fact, on the special features for this movie, the writer of the film described this as the Casper mask.
Initially, when they first shot the film, they used this Knb mask, which I refer to as the Casper, the ghost mask. This is very kind of featureless.
And that's a pretty good description for it. The eye holes are too big. There's this big, pronounced forehead. It's weird looking. So they actually shot with this mask for like 3 or 4 weeks, and then the Weinsteins looked at the footage and went, no, You are not releasing that in theaters. You need to create a new mask.
And with that Knb mask, it was almost comical rather than frightening. It's interesting to me that it went that far down the line.
And that's why they went through this whole process of doing reshoots to get a better mask. And they never really came up with one that was much better. Number 12, the Halloween 5 mask. They tried to fix what went wrong with Halloween 4, and they didn't really fix much of anything. This one just looks weird. The face structure is all off. The eyebrows look weird. Everything about it just looks like a cheap knockoff Michael Myers mask. Only it's not a cheap knockoff. It is an official Michael Myers mask that was in a movie that cost millions of dollars, and they went, that looks good. Let's put it in a movie. Then we have the Halloween H2o Stan Winston mask. After they rejected the primary mask, they went to Stan Winston himself to design a new mask, and they got something that was very marginally better than what they had been working with. And this one, it's another just strange design. It has more expression than the Knb mask, but not much more. The eyebrows just look weird, and the big thing that stands out is the way the eyes are designed, the way the mask fits on the guy's face. You just see his eyes looking around too much. And you're supposed to have, like, they're supposed to be like the blackest eyes, not the normalest big eyes popping through a mask. So it just looks weird. And when you watch the movie, they basically went and did a bunch of reshoots to insert this mask in. So in the close-ups, you see this mask, but in the wide shots, it's the Knb mask most of the time. And as soon as you know this, it makes for a whole new viewing experience when you watch the movie, trying to spot which mask is being used in which shot in the film. But I don't think any of them look good. Kicking off our top 10, the Halloween Resurrection Mask, and this is another one I don't really like. It's very much like the Stan Winston Halloween H2o mask. The eyebrows are still weird, still kind of has an odd expression on his face. The eyes are still kind of in a way that they move around too much and you notice them way too much. But because there's just the one mask and not like constantly shifting masks, the movie itself doesn't draw as much attention to the bad mask that you're looking at, so it doesn't bother me quite as much, but I still do not like this mask. Number 9, the final Halloween H2o mask, and this is the Halloween 6 mask in Halloween H2o. In the first shot where Michael Myers is introduced in the film, he's wearing a version of the Halloween 6 mask. After they canceled the Knb mask, they went to a guy that brought them the molds of the Halloween 6 mask, so they brought that one, shot a little bit with it, and then the director was like, no, we are not using the mask from that movie. We're gonna get a whole new one. And so for a single shot, they had the Halloween 6 mask, and it's a better mask than what was the actual official Halloween H2o mask. It's got a little bit more expression to it, a little bit more sinister. I don't love this mask, but it is better than the ones lower on the list. And that'll bring us to our next mask, which is the official Halloween 6 mask. This one doesn't make the mistakes of the ones lower on this list with crazy eyes, utter lack of expression on the face. It's got a little bit of texture to it. It doesn't feel too clean like the Halloween Resurrection mask. So it just has a bit more going on to it. It gets more to the vibe of the original Halloween mask. It's not one that I love, but it doesn't bother me the way that the ones lower on this list. Whenever I see the H2o mask, the 4 and 5 mask, I just see them and I go, was that really the best you could do? And I watch Halloween 6, and instead of noticing the bad mask, I noticed the bizarre plot line. Number 7, the Halloween 2 mask. Now, this is the exact same mask from Halloween 1978, but it was stored for several years and put on a different actor's face, so it just looks different. It's good enough, it's fine, but it certainly isn't nearly as good as it looked back in 1978. Dick Warlock's his face was just like a rounder, and so the mask just kind of puffs out a little bit, and it's just not the same. It's not as menacing, it's not as good. Add to that just a few years of actual real aging, doesn't look great on this mask, so just not as effective. It's good. It's much better than Halloween Resurrection and below on this list, but not nearly as good as it originally looked when it was put on the first actor. Nick Casper. Number 6, Rob Zombie's Halloween 2. And as much as I don't like this movie, the mask works in the context of the film. It's tattered, it's torn, it's messed up. It's a movie all about broken people, and this is a very broken mask. And while because it's so tattered, destroyed, messed up, everything that happens to it, it looks very different from any other mask on this list. It also fits with what's going on. It's terrifying, it's menacing, and it's used like a costume in the film. And so, like I said, I don't like this movie. I do think the mask absolutely works. In 5th place, Halloween Ends. Once again, not crazy about the movie Halloween Ends, but the mask in this new trilogy of films looks cool. Every single one of these movies, it looks very cool, and each of them feels like the proper continuation of where the mask would be at in light of the time that's taken place and the events that have happened. And so I'll talk more about why I love this mask when we get to Kills and when we get to the other one. This looks fine. It looks the same as it essentially as it did in Kills, except it's got a little bit of wear and tear from being in the sewers. Doesn't do as much fresh and new with it the way that the previous two did, so it's not quite as interesting to me, but I think this is a great looking mask. In 4th place, Rob Zombie's Halloween. Once again, not crazy about the movie, but when it comes to the mask, it is terrifying. It's not a copy of what came before. It is an update for Rob Zombie's zombified version of Halloween. And when you put this mask on a dude that's almost 7 feet tall and just looks like a tank, it absolutely is effective. It does its job. It is terrifying. It's all the things that it's supposed to be. I like that it's a worn mask. It's been like under the floor. It's in the abandoned house for decades. He comes and gets it, and so it just has that ratted, tattered look to it. And then it just, the expression is a little bit nastier, meaner, and that fits the movie that it's in. I am totally down for this mask. Not as down for the movie. Real quick before I give you my top 3, remember to join me down below in the comment section. Let me know your ranking of the Halloween masks. Also, I've done other Halloween content. I've reviewed the current trilogy of films and then did a ranking of the movies where I tried to talk about, it's longer than my rankings normally would be for the number of movies in it, because I just wanted to talk about all of the movies a whole lot. As I mentioned before, I did do kind of this deep dive into Halloween in preparation for both Kills and Ends, listening to Taking Shape, watching all the special features, and I tried to pour all of that into this most recent ranking of the movies, and you can check that out somewhere up here. In 3rd place, Halloween Kills, and this is just a fantastic continuation of the Halloween 2018 mask, which, as you can tell, thoroughly enjoyed that mask, but you just have the worn, aged mask from Halloween 2018, and then the movie starts off, obviously, with him burning alive, and so you have this melted mask, which makes for this kind of vicious animal version of Michael Myers that is just going out and killing lots of people. So it's a little bit different because it's melted, it's burned, it's even more worn down, and that fits the vicious, brutal carnage candy that you find in Halloween Kills. So this is another great mask. Our runner-up, the Halloween 1978 mask, and just one of the most fun pieces of film trivia of all time is, of course, that the Halloween mask in the original film was a William Shatner Captain Kirk mask converted into this faceless, emotionless mask for Michael Myers. And there's numerous documentaries where they tell the story about exactly how that went down, and they had different masks and they tried different things. And then, as it turns out, the one that was just creepiest, the one that just had that perfect vibe that captured everything Loomis said about Michael Myers, was this painted Captain Kirk mask. And there's not much new to say about this mask. It's just kind of perfectly captures a creepy, emotionless face while having just enough articulation in it, enough bends and curves to have some texture, and it was filmed just right to make it the perfect faceless face for Michael Myers, the Shape. But in first place for me is the Halloween 2018 mask, where they tried to model it on the original 78 mask and then just give it 40 years of age, and I think they nailed it with this one. This is, obviously, it's my number one, and when you take kind of the original creepiness and then just add age to it, add harshness to it, add dirt and grime, that's what fits this character, that's what fits this movie, that's what fits an aged Michael Myers is an aged mask. And as soon as you see this mask, or even like the one from Rob Zombie's Halloween, it just seems bizarre that they put out movies like the Halloween 4 mask, the H2O, the Resurrection mask, that are just so clean. It makes no sense when you see it like that. Just these torn, tattered masks fit on this brutal killing machine. And there's just enough like bends and curves in it to just give it this nasty, brutal face of a killer, but also being faceless, also being emotionless. It's like that perfect balance of all the things that it's trying to be. So for me, I love the look that they were able to find with this new one. So it comes in at number one. Remember, if you want to check out the rest of my Halloween content, you can check it out in these videos somewhere around here. And if you're interested in kind of doing a deep dive into Halloween, you can get Taking Shape or Taking Shape 2 for free at audibletrials.com/Sean Chandler. The link is down below in the description. I am a big, gigantic fan of Audible. I absolutely do recommend them. Thank you so much for watching, and keep talking movies and TV too much.